Both first and last scenes of Arcane create a grand contrast, a beginning and an end underlining show's message to their fans. Message about forgiveness, healing, peace, and letting go of antagonism. And they're shown as such through the eyes of Vi, who's the single most important character, telling us how it all started and how it ended. Now, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out because looking at these scenes, there's just so much to dive into. There's so much hidden in both these scenes. It's amazing how they created a difference between them, focusing on Vi specifically. Vi's journey started off with hatred that she let go of in the final scene. In the first scene, she's holding her fists tight, and in the final one, she gives up her fighting attributes. She no longer wears the bandages around her hands. She's not focused on fighting anymore. So while in the first scene she started the fight, in the final one she gave up on the fight. That's one of the reasons why Caitlyn asks her if she's still in the fight, if she's still within the whole antagonism, within the entire Piltover zone conflict. And we know that she just isn't anymore, which she confirmed to Caitlyn. In the first scene of Arcane, she was looking at Piltover through the gas, through the remains of the battle. In the last scene she was in Piltover, settled down as we can assume. In the first scene, she just gained Vander's love and protection. In the final scene, she just lost Vander. In the first scene, Vander started protecting her. We know that he was her protector all throughout the years to come. Now in the final scene, Vander was gone, but Caitlyn was there, and we know that Caitlyn is an emotional successor to Vander's love. Right now, Caitlyn is the one who's protecting Vi. In the first scene, she just became the prime protector of Powder because their parents were gone, so she took that responsibility. In the final scene, it was Jinx who protected her. It was Jinx who saved her and ultimately sacrificed herself for Vi. In the first scene, she despised the particular enforcer that just killed her parents. Actually, even entire enforcer's organization. In the final scene, she was in love with an enforcer. And she became part of Enforcers because right now she knows she can do some good while in it. She can protect not only Piltover but also Zone. She let go of that particular despise. Same song was playing, Dear Friend, wrapping up this epic journey, telling us that antagonism doesn't always have to lead to maintaining conflict for years. In the first scene, Powder sings that song. Surely Vi told her to keep her eyes closed, to not see the misery, the death. In the final scene, it's Vi who's humming the song, probably wishing she could have protected Powder, Jinx. In the first scene, Piltover and Zone were probably in the single most hostile moment of their entire history. Now in the final moment, they were probably in the most peaceful moment in their entire history, especially since Sevika just assumed a place in the council. So we can assume that they will be slowly working towards minimizing the differences between up and down. In the first scene, there was so much fire, so much death and destruction. Everything was red. There was lots of smoke. Now in the final scene, there's a single source of fire in the fireplace. Vi's sitting next to it, and we know that it symbolizes the warmth of the home that she found in the final moment. In the first scene, Vi no longer had a home. In the last scene, she found a place of her own, next to Caitlyn, next to a person that she loves. Because to her it doesn't really matter if she's in Zone where she was taken in the first scene or if she's in Piltover where she was taken in the last scene. Because to her it only always mattered that she's next to someone that she loves, that she's able to protect as well. So in the first scene, fire was symbolizing conflict, and in the last scene, fire was symbolizing security she found within the Kierman mansion. And it's also no accident because the opposite of red that was dominating in the first scene is green that was dominating and surrounding Vi in the last scene. In the first moments of Arcane, she was neglected, broken, dirty. In the final scene, she was well taken care of, clean, looking healthy and looking peaceful. She was still wearing very similar clothes, telling us that it's still the same Vi. Shots in the first moments of Arcane were kind of severe, especially the sculptures, looking vicious and angry. Now the final shots were very gentle, peaceful, quiet. In the first moments of Arcane, Vi, because of just losing her parents, she stopped being violent. Right now she was violence-centered. It feels like Vi was born in that moment.
I've always liked the name Violet.
And in the last scene, she went back to Violet.
Are you still in this fight, Violet?
And the person who was so conflict-oriented died. But having said all that, there's also one thing that I think is quite similar to both the first and the last scene. In the first moments of Arcane, we see Powder crying. But she isn't crying because she just lost her parents. Not only because of that. It feels like she is crying and she's worried because she sees Vi broken. So she puts herself on the second place. She doesn't focus on her own grief after losing her parents. She focuses on the fact that Vi is sad and she's trying to support her. The same thing happened in the final moments of Arcane, because we know that Jane sacrificed herself. She saved Vi. She left the circle of violence which was started in the first moments of Arcane, leaving Vi outside of that circle. But it ultimately meant that she left. So the single thing that is exactly the same is the love between two sisters, despite one not really being there anymore. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, most important thing, a major thank you to all my patrons for supporting me and allowing me to make the content. Bye, guys.